It is April 24th, 5:45 p.m. in beautiful Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Sun is shining. It's a clear day, 85 degrees, which is kind of miraculous since we were in the 30s just a few days ago. And I'm heading down to the most Pittsburgh place imaginable to target some catfish and carp. My name's Jake Workmeister, and I love fishing. Okay, I got a bit of a walk, probably about 2,000 feet to my destination. I'll have a camera on me, and fortunately, since I'm a musician, I'm acclimated to carrying a lot of heavy equipment long distances, so it's going to be a bit of a trek. Bear with me. So, carrying 3 fishing rods, 1 large catch net, a rod pod, and a tackle box, along with a backpack, I begin my journey. By using Google Maps, I determined that my 2,000-foot estimate wasn't too far off. In truth, the total distance was closer to 1,800 feet, carrying about 50 pounds worth of equipment, and the air temperature at this time was reading about 84 degrees. Our destination today takes us to the tip of historic Point State Park. As I'm working my way to my final destination, a Samaritan took notice of my fishing gear.
How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Trying to keep cool. It's the two extremes in this city.
The heat is already getting to my post-winter fattened body state, but I'm only about halfway there. Another fisherman coming up on the left-hand side gives me hope that I'm on the right path today. So as I crest the very tip of Pittsburgh today, I have to tell you what makes this spot so very special. Water flowing from the Allegheny River and the Monongahela River meet at the point in order to form the Ohio River. The currents are generally fast and powerful in the springtime, and this could lead to a great number of challenges when you're trying to fish the rivers. I suspect that there's a dead zone in the currents directly in front of the point, and this is also a good area where fish are going to gather in order to avoid the strong currents, and predatory fish will stay in this area in order to get anything that happens to float on by. This would also include catfish. Carp and black buffalo will like this area as it requires less energy for them to stay in one place. Channel catfish, carp, and black buffalo are omnivores, so they'll all go after the dough ball that we're using today. The pack bait, or dough ball, that I'm using today is a combination of cornmeal flour, flaxseed flour, gelatin, and corn. There's also some additives, basic amino acids, particularly straight aminos, which is a keto soy sauce. I'll get into the details of this recipe in a later video, but basically it's designed to stimulate the sensory organs on both catfish and carp.
Really can't ask for a better day.
And while on the hunt for fish, I discovered a Wookiee.
What do we take? Picture?
Dig it, man.
What's up, guys? Come on now. Who wants squirting? I got it.
As seconds became minutes and minutes became hours, one thing was becoming abundantly clear to me. The extremely cold water from the week before was having an adverse effect on the fishing. The particular fish I was targeting were hiding deep within the river, and unfortunately I could not cast far enough to reach these holes. So despite the very beautiful setting I was in, I was getting skunked. I was getting skunked bad.
All right, guys, that's a wrap for day one. Fortunately, the water temperature was colder than I anticipated, and they're still staying in their little holes offshore. So, got some ideas for tomorrow. We're not going to get skunked in the video, at least. So, stick around for day two. So, it's about 24 hours later. We're going to check out just above Lock 3 on the Allegheny River, probably about 13 miles upriver from town. Awesome little riverfront park out here where barges are parked. And it's a steep drop off, a lot of fish, a lot of structure. I'll be using the dough ball again, and I'm also pulling out a minnow trap, so we'll be using that, catching some minnow and seeing what we can capture. I'm going to get this minnow trap set up first. Bought it about a month ago. This is the first time I've actually used it, but seems appropriate, especially for this area. A ton of bait fish, which is always good because bait fish means that there's bigger fish. And actually, it's kind of fortuitous that I did get skunked yesterday. I was winding in one of my rods. I'm using a 20-pound braided wire on 3 spinning reels. And one thing I didn't know last year when I was getting into this again, braided wire on spinning reels doesn't really get any traction around the reel. So if you just put it on the reel, tie or knot, eventually the whole spool is just going to slip. To correct that, what you have to do is, what I found works best is just laying down a little strip of painter's tape on your first pass, and then that way the line is going against the painter's tape, against the spool. It creates enough traction there where it prevents it from slipping. By the way, all 3 rods I'm using today are GX2s, Shakespeare Ugly Sticks GX2s. They are 6'6", I think medium heavy. And I bought 2 of them at Walmart as a spinning combo with the reel. And I gotta say, I've read things from people that say that they're garbage reels. I pulled in a ton of stuff from these rivers, both fish, cable, trees, anything you could imagine will come out of these waters. And honestly, they take a lot of abuse and just keep working. So I mean, there's nothing more I want from a reel. Do they have as much finesse as like a Fluger or a Shimano? No, but you get what you pay for, and I have something that will keep working, and no harm, no foul. Once it actually does kick the bucket, I'll just replace it with something better because those rods are even more indestructible. So that's a quick review. Down the road I might go into like some gear reviews. There we go. So all I'm going to do here is use some nylon string. Got a bench right behind me. Usually I'd be sitting on that. That's nice, but like I said, the rivers have been blown out lately, so they're very, very high right now, and a lot of that area there's no access to, so we'll make do. I don't mind standing for fishing. This is a totally different environment than yesterday. Don't get me wrong, urban environment is very cool, something different, but I prefer it when I hear nothing but the birds chirping, squirrels barking, that kind of deal. One of these days I'll get a cameraman just to track me too. Another little fun fact, we're supposed to be getting a thunderstorm right now. I looked at the weather radar, thought otherwise, so far it looks like I'm right, even though we do have the low pressure conditions, some cloud cover, but the bulk of our the storms seem to be blowing west of here. As I'm talking, he sees I'm messing with food. That won't take long. Not with the number of bait fish that are out here. But regarding the GX2 set, it's inexpensive, very durable, light enough to throw around for a while if you're, I like it for, you know, going after pike, muskie, that type of deal. It's durable. Not necessarily something you want to throw around for, you know, all day for like smaller game fish like bass. There's a chipmunk in the trees right there. I was like wondering if that was rain. I gotta feed my buddy here, some mallards, some dough ball. Just got this rod pod a couple weeks ago. I'm going to change the actual holders eventually. Some better ones you could get. They have bite alarms, a whole bunch of fancy things. These are nice. The only thing I don't like, I should have probably like a simple V on one end instead of this design, which I think these are all just for holding the handle. The only other thing I don't like about it, it's a little bit too low for the center rack, so the reel kind of sets goofy on there. Watching those bait fish go into the minnow trap already. Using the bigger catch net today. Actually, I bring the smaller one down here. It's small enough where I could get those minnow closer or close to the shore and just scoop them right out. The light is bright and sunlight's refracting off the top of the water. They can't see me. Now, certain times of the day, they do catch me. Any movement I make scares them all back in. So they all swarm back and start eating the dough ball again. Actually just recently switched over to, I swore by the 3/0 circle hooks all last year. Problem I found with them, it's a minor complaint, but one that is notable on the river. They do too good of a job snagging onto larger logs. One of the reasons why I also like these GX2, like I said, they're indestructible. So is a 20-pound test if you're pulling in the right direction. But to offset the possibility of snags, I'm using these little mosquito, these are size 2 mosquito hooks. And on the river, I'm always using a nylon leader, just because when catfish turn their head the right way, they don't have teeth, but that rough patch on their jaws will be enough to destroy braided line. Braid has a lot of tensile strength, not so much when it's being rubbed the wrong way. As far as what these mosquito hooks could do, my PB catfish for the year was an 8-pound channel so far. I caught last month. Haven't been out much just because of weather, life, all that work. But yeah, this little mosquito hook was able to pull him in no problem. So it seems to do what the larger circle hooks do. They spit it out, it catches the side of their mouth, and it was enough to bring him in. So, 2 spitting combos are both from Walmart. I got one of them. The first one was Memorial Day special last year. I think I paid about 17 bucks for it. Best little investment I ever made. Also why I give this reel a lot of leeway. But yeah, nothing special. Rolls back, not really that much, but there's no reverse or anything like that. It's your basic tough as nails reel. I'm adding a little weight to these just to, actually I want to save you using the other mosquito hook for duck threw me off. Thought that was a fish jumping. I'm going to use that other mosquito hook for shiners I have trapping themselves right now. The other one will be a 3/0, a trusty 3/0 circle hook. Funny story, the only alleged bite I thought I had came from one of those mallards yesterday. Cast it out, wasn't paying attention. One flew right into my line, jerked me so hard I thought I had a trophy fish on the line. Don't hit the tree.
Quack, quack, quack. Mallards crack me up.
The bite has been off. The bite has been off. I was talking to a couple fishermen earlier, and they've been getting skunked on every single spot that they could think of, which is unusual unless you have another cold front coming, and the water's already cold from last week. So what I think is happening, they know that spring hasn't really sprung yet, and they know it's going to get cold, so they're hiding deep in their holes. Best I could figure anyway, because I've never seen the bite hurting this much with this much bait. Oh well, fish on. Had something jumping out there about 50 feet. Second fish in about 10 minutes. That is good.
So just when it looked like another day was looking like the one before, and I cast out yet another dough ball, I took note that something was happening with my center rod. And that center rod had 2 minnow on a mosquito hook on a Carolina rig. I was suspecting either a freshwater drum or a channel catfish, but what happened next actually caught me off guard.
There we go. Hang tight. He's on. Not what I was expecting.
Slow motion.
But a fish is a fish, and when you've had a day as slow as this, bass is a wonderful thing to see. My first of the year. There we go.
It wasn't much, but this little smallmouth bass reinvigorated me for the rest of the day. It was nice finally catching some signs of life. It looks like this one is starting to get into spawning, judging by the little split in his tail, so he may be starting to make beds, even though I thought it was a little bit too early for that, but who knows?
I'm happy to see you. Have fun, little guy. I don't think I've ever worked that hard for a single fish. All right, that's about gonna do it for me today. I'm running out of daylight and I don't have any lanterns on me. I think the issue is exactly this. Talked to a couple other fishermen today and they were saying that they've been getting skunked everywhere they're fishing. So I think it's a good time to boat fish right now, but from shore, with the river being blown out like this, it's very hard to get to the good spots. And with at least one cold snap we're going to be getting in a few days, I think all the fish are just hiding in their holes deeper out there. So, maybe it's time to target some walleye and trout. We'll see.
Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe. And until next time, keep on fishing.